Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I am joined by a very special guest. If you do not recognize her from a prior video, this is my mom, who I now live very close to. If you are, she's obviously very happy about that, and we are as well. If you have not followed along or you have no idea, we are here in Chicago. She has lived here for 20 years now. 20 years? That's crazy. And so we moved here since we are expecting our first little one. And so I thought it would be fun before the baby gets here to do a Q&A with my mom. And then maybe after she comes and we're both moms, then maybe we do like more of a regular thing. Although I said that on the live, the week we're filming this. And I was like, yeah, but if we do it live, who's gonna watch the baby? So it wouldn't be able to be at the normal live time. It would either have to be a different time or pre-recorded when somebody else can watch her. So I asked you to submit questions for today, and I'm excited to jump in.
Okay.
Yay. Okay, the first one is just for fun. How excited are you that Laken is having a baby girl? Your baby girl is having a baby girl.
Oh, I am so excited, and I knew it was a girl from the very beginning, just like I knew with her.
She knew with all three of her kids.
Yeah, well, it was always what I wanted too, so I didn't know if it was what I wanted or if I actually
just knew.
But either way, it worked out both ways for me.
So funny. All right, some of you probably know the answer to this question, but I did get, how did you pick Laken's name?
I got Laken's name from a soap opera in 1984. I graduated high school. There was nothing to do in the middle of the day after college classes, and so I watched a soap opera and I heard the name and I said, if I have a little girl, I'm naming her Laken. I even had the middle name picked out at that time. So when she was born in 1991, told her dad, too bad, I already have the girl's name picked out.
Well, yeah, and you told him that he could pick the boy's name.
Yes.
But you knew clearly that it didn't matter because it was gonna be a girl.
That's it.
The follow-up to that is, were there any names in the running, other names?
Well, because I told everybody the name, and because it was unusual, sometimes I got some pushback and what have you. And so I did almost cave, like, should I actually name her something different? It wasn't like in 1991 the same as it is today to use unusual names.
Yeah, nowadays, like, there are so many unique names.
Right. Then it wasn't really very many unique names. So I did like Amanda, but didn't want it shortened to anything, to Amy or Mandy, but I liked Amanda. But I was very sick during the pregnancy, and the sicker I got, the more I said, I'm gonna name the baby what I wanna name it. And I stuck with Laken.
Which I tell moms that all the time. I'm like, you're the one growing this human and birthing this human, like, you get final say in the name.
Yep.
Didn't Mima also suggest Lily at one point?
Yes, she did. She did, and it's kind of funny now because I have a niece named Lily with the same birthday.
Yeah. Through my stepdad, we now have a niece slash cousin who's Lily, the exact same birthday, 10 years later.
Yep.
10 years younger than me.
Yeah. So Mima did like Lily.
Yeah.
But at the time, I liked Laken, and I still love Laken.
And I really like my name. The next one is also kind of about me, us. Are there any mannerisms or traits that you think Laken got from you?
Well, we are both very much extroverts and we talk a lot. My whole family though, all my kids talk a lot. And so that could very easily be me. We're very, I think, expressive and passionate. And when we feel things, I think we feel them very passionately. And so I definitely feel like that's, something that we have in common. But yes, it was always easy to get along with Laken at all ages, because we just kind of jived all the time. When she was a little toddler, she didn't like morning, and I didn't like morning, and we would just go.
I don't know when that changed, like when I became more of a morning person.
Yeah, no, all the way to the preschool, it was just quiet in the car. We didn't talk because we were both not awake
Nobody
yet.
wanted to chat in the morning. That's funny. That's so funny. I also feel like, I mean, there's a couple future questions about like career and job, like being math, like liking numbers and being very like math kind of detailed and going that route career-wise.
True.
Although I guess my dad has that too. It's funny, I feel like I've said this maybe in a few places. My mom and dad are very similar people. And so there are some traits that I do feel like I got from both of them.
Right.
And because they both have those traits, or even silly things like I'll talk about like my taste in like drinks, right? Like my favorite kind of wine, or that I like whiskey, and they're like, oh, did you get that from your mom or your dad? And I'm like, both, and yes.
Yep.
Like they have similar tastes in those kinds of things too, so.
For sure, for sure. And then to have both the math, analytical side, but still have the, you know, the very extrovert, you know, actuaries and accountants aren't usually known to be extroverts.
Yes.
And so the fact that we were both in
like,
a field that was, that really more attracted introverts, and we are extroverts, clearly.
Yeah, that's true. All right, kind of, it flows right into that next question. A little bit more serious, but I think very helpful. How were you able to stay friends and work with your ex for Laken after your divorce, especially at the beginning?
Well, at the beginning, it's just putting kid first. I mean, it's just that simple. And I actually grew up in a divorced home, and it wasn't amicable, and knew I didn't want that, and I wanted Laken to have her father, and so it actually pained me to share custody evenly. I did not want to do that.
50-50 at the beginning.
Yeah. Personally, I didn't want to do that, but I knew that she needed her dad. And so that way, and it would also force him to be a real dad and not a see you on the weekend Disney World dad.
Yeah.
And so he would have to, you know, discipline and do things because he had her, you
regular
know,
days,
3 days a week. So it was, so I think that helped him be a better dad. And I think we both just wanted to, you know, Tim have Laken have a life where both of her parents were, you know, doing what was, you know, best for her. And I think what I tell people who are actually going through those situations is that you can't hurt your ex without hurting your child. So if you take it with that kind of a perspective, and you have to, and by doing the right things for your child, you're going to benefit the other person. And you have to accept that that's okay, you know, and that's what I think some people struggle with. They don't want to make something nice for their ex, but that's the only way you can make it right for your child, is be okay with doing things that is going to be good for them.
Yeah. Because anytime I post about our family dynamic and that everybody gets along and spends time together, I always get like, you're so lucky, like that's so rare. And it's ironic because to me, it doesn't feel rare, because not only did you do it with my dad, but then you also did it with your second husband, my brother and sister's dad, and then my husband's parents are the same way, and they did it. And so I'm like, I understand there's a spectrum of divorced relationships, and my experience just all happens to be on that very amicable side. And it's, I don't know. I mean, yes, I understand how lucky I am, but also it is putting in the work and remembering that that's what's best for the kid.
Yep.
Or kids involved, is to do it that way, even if it is really hard.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Yep.
And then sometimes it's easy because like you love my stepmom and hang out with her.
Now it's actually super easy. Yeah. Sometimes if we had differences on how we wanted to
raising me,
then you know it's hard for two parents that are actually happily married to always agree on how to raise a child. So, you know, when you're trying to do that with an ex, then it's even harder. But now that, you know, everybody's adults, we all just enjoy and have fun together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and yes. And Sue, yeah, there was times when I liked Sue more than Michael.
Right, that's fine. All right, let's move into some about like parenting. I guess that one was kind of kicking off parenting and stuff like that. So what have you told Laken about being a mom that you wish you knew before she was born?
I think when everybody kept telling me you'll know, I didn't like that answer when I was pregnant. I hated that. I was like, what do you mean I'll know? You know, how am I gonna know? And it is true. It really is. You just start bonding with the baby, and then you click, and you can pick up and feel those things. And so what else have I told you?
I don't know. When I looked at that question, I was like, I don't know.
I did some things by accident. One of those things is because I was young and then single when she was 3 months old. So it was a matter of, I was living a life and doing things. And so I took her all kinds of places, everywhere, did everything. And she became extremely adaptable because she was just wherever she was. You know?
I can still sleep anywhere.
Yep.
I think that's probably part of the reason.
Yep, because I'd go to friends' houses and she'd stay there, and then go, you know, we had, you know, the grandparents, we had, you know, we just had lots of different things we did. And then I also learned after the fact too that having kids in those certain ages, I think 9 to 18 months or something, that the more they see different things, it helps their brain synapses grow. And so that is actually, good for their intelligence. And so, not looking at the same thing. So you stay home all the time, they're looking at the same things all the time. You take them to stores and restaurants and the park and the zoo, and they see different things. And so their eyes are constantly
developing
and taking in that information and building, the brain. So yeah, that was something that I didn't know. I did it by accident. Saw a study after the fact, and I'm like, maybe that's why Laken's so smart.
Somebody else, which is kind of similar, is any other newborn tips that you're giving Laken?
Oh, I've given her lots, probably newborn tips.
Yeah.
I think that, a big one is don't be quiet, because they already hear everything going on at this point, and so they sleep with noise when she's now. So just keep that going. I would play the TV, vacuum, do all kinds of things, because I didn't want them to lose that ability to sleep with the noise. And so, and again, you still can sleep and noise doesn't
impact you. I mean, I couldn't have probably lived in New York for 10 years without being able to sleep through noise. Even now, even though Chicago is quieter, it's still not.
It's still city.
It's still city, and we still hear things, especially when your upstairs neighbors are in their early 20s and want to throw parties. But I definitely can still sleep through things. So that's helpful. I know, I was also trying to think if there are any other tips.
But you just have to, I think, just enjoy it, and don't rush everything, and don't feel like every day has to be perfect, and they very quickly grow up, and that's one thing she keeps not understanding yet. She will get there. I keep saying, this will come fast. Oh, Mom, that's 6 months. That's a year from now.
Yeah, we're talking about things. I'm like, that's so far away.
I'm just like, no, it's amazing how fast that happens, and that's why you kind of have to just appreciate all those things kind of in the moment. And I always thought every age was the best age. Every age had something good about it. I liked them when they're slugs and you could just hold them and look at them and, and love on them. And then when they start getting their personality, and then when they're just discovering every little thing. And so I loved them all, and I love them as adults, because you get to be friends with them. And it's, so I think that, I feel like rushing through life, just really taking the time, and, and don't worry about these milestones. Get them out of your head. They need to happen at a certain time. They don't need. I always say, well, no one's going to kindergarten with the pacifier. Nobody's going to kindergarten not potty trained. Just let it happen when it happens, and it makes it a lot easier when you let them kind of guide when they're ready, and not worry about what so and so's baby's doing, or what book says what. It's they'll happen when it happens, and you'll be. Trust me, rushing them to walk,
or potty training.
Yeah. Oh, the potty training.
Also.
No, I did not rush any potty training, and it was so much easier. I did not have accidents because they were ready. So it to me made life so much easier than changing wet bed sheets every day. I think that would be.
Well, that sounds like no fun.
No, it doesn't. Like anybody. That's why I was like, no. It's just let them decide, and when they're ready, they're ready. And they all told me that that they were ready, and it was easy. I hardly had any accidents.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I didn't worry about having their pacifier. She had a thumb.
I was a thumb. I did stuff my thumb until an age I'm not going to admit on the internet. But what you said there, I know you've heard me talk about the Braun family before and their YouTube channel, and I love them. And that's one of the things that Dad always says is that, well, she's not going to be going to college and not insert thing here, whatever it is, whether it's picky eating, where that's getting more into toddlers as opposed to newborn stuff, but that she's not going to be going to college and not doing these things. So it's okay if right now it is it is what it is.
Or when they want to sleep in bed with you when they're young, and it's just, Laken really wanted to sleep in bed with me, so she had special night once a week, so that she had that set night that she knew, and that was also okay, if you don't do that, you lose special night, and then that would be reason for her to listen to whatever I said.
Special night.
Special night, yeah. But I think that with all the kids, they will all eventually want to sleep on their own. So it will, and then you'll be sad. You'll be like, oh, they're not here.
They don't want to
cuddle me. They don't want to come in and cuddle. So things that seem like they're a pain, they're actually things you're gonna miss.
Oh, that's cute. All right, how did you raise such a strong daughter?
How did I raise such a strong daughter?
Thank you to whoever asked that question also. It's very sweet.
Well, I think that, you know, I just always thought about, you know, people say I'm strong too. So it's like I try to go, well, what are those things that I would want her to survive, you know, making sure that she can be a woman that makes her own decisions and doesn't let somebody diminish who she is, that she will always be who she is. Because I think that's, for a woman, makes me sad when I see women that just decide to be what somebody else wants them to be, you know, as opposed to embracing yourself, embracing the good and the not so good.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. It's okay if you're sensitive. So what? You know, I didn't criticize her for the things that made her who she was, so that she would always know that I'm okay. I'm okay of who I am. And I think that's what makes somebody strong, is that they are confident in who they are. And, you know, and it doesn't mean everything's perfect. So,
okay, I'm gonna start to tear up there. Let's, all right, the last one that's like parenting related was kind of a joke. She put in parentheses, snarky. Because Laken is your first and favorite, haha, what do you tell the others to keep their self-esteem up? And I mean, again, snarky, joking aside, in general, keeping the self-esteem, you know, with all of your kids, and we're all different.
I think that's it. They're all different, and I love doing different things with different of the kids, and it's like, again, they are who they are, you know, and I don't get all caught up in the pluses and the minuses, and just make sure that they know that I love them exactly how they are. And so I think when someone feels like they're loved unconditionally for who they are, that's going to keep their self-esteem up.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think regardless of who was first, my brother and sister also are self-confident and like have strong self-esteem.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, we're moving into some just fun questions about you. So, how did you meet your husband?
Everybody always likes that question. So I had a very good friend of mine who was in town, and we noticed that at this particular jazz club there was going to be a singer that I really, really liked, and so we went there just to listen to this jazz singer for no other reason, and lo and behold, that's when I met Mark, and I saw him first, so there's always a running joke, who saw who first at the bar. But I came back and, you know, and told my friends I saw this guy, and he was really cute, and then we just set it up so that when we were dancing on the dance floor, he was right there, and so he could stop me and talk to me, and he did.
And then he had to make the first move.
Yes, of course he had to make the first move, because that's, you know, just like that. So he did, and then it was just immediate. It really was immediate, and that experience was really unique, you know, to me. I don't know if I actually believed that you could just instantaneously, that whole idea again about, you know, and I just knew,
well, because you weren't looking,
no,
you didn't say like she had actually said she was never going to get married again. She was like, you were done.
Yep, I was pretty happy and content with my life, and was going to take someone that was going to sweep me off my feet to get me to go back to a life where, you know, there was compromise. But I actually don't even feel like that is true. You know, when it's easy, and it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I also, you've heard me say this before, but everything happens for a reason. And this was the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. And so I was about to leave for college, which meant that she was going to be alone part of the week when my brother and sister were with their dad. And I think that the universe was like, I don't think so. Yeah. You need somebody.
Yeah, it actually made it easier for her, because I would have been like, I don't want you to leave.
Yeah, especially out of state. Like, it would have been a lot harder to go if you hadn't met him.
That's true.
When you met him.
Yep. The universe did bring him into my life.
That's what I think.
At the right time.
Okay, couple career-related questions. Any advice for young ladies starting out in Big Four public accounting?
Big Four public accounting,
which is her whole career.
Yes.
So if you don't know, I mean, the quick backstory is that you've worked for 2 of the Big Four, and that was your whole career. It was in Big Four.
Yep, I worked for KPMG for 11 and 15 at EY, I think, something like that, a long time. And I counseled a lot of younger women as I grew up in the firm, and don't be afraid to say no. And women that tend to go into Big Four tend to be of a personality type that they want to also be, they're usually extremely smart, did very well in school, always top of their class, top of everything. Realize that throughout life that you don't have to be number one at everything. I think this is what women challenges. They want to be the best wife, the best mother, the best sister, the best friend, the best employee. They want to do everything the best. And when you try to do everything the best, I think that's where you realize that you're going to fall down. And even when you get your annual rating, sometimes there were years where my kids, I needed to be at home more than I needed to be focused at work. No, I didn't do poorly at work, but do I have to be the best? No, I need to calibrate and figure out where I need to be investing the most time. And it never hurt my career. Again, once you've established that you do a good job. I was blessed. I worked with some great partners. First partner asked me to do a flexible work arrangement when I was pregnant with my son, and so it was like, and that was unheard of at that
time. Yeah, I mean, that's 25 years ago.
Yeah, so it was just not a thing. And then I got called from other Big Four firms like, how are you making this work? And I'm just like, well, it goes both ways. They're going to keep giving you more work. You have to learn to say, if you don't say no, I watched people get burned out all the time. We burned out our good people. I was just like, you guys have to stop doing this. You just keep giving them more. But that's why you gotta know when to say no. Say no, I can't do that, and I've got this or whatever. And now it's improved a whole lot since when I went through. But
yeah,
but I still think that women have they want to do everything.
Yep.
And you can't do everything. And what's balanced to one person is not balanced to another. And then I also realized that I remember telling my boss when Laken started high school, I said that I think this is going to be the hardest time as a mother. When the kids are little, you can easily tell somebody else when to feed them, when to bathe them, when to put them to bed. Their needs are known and their needs are easily delegated. But in high school, you have no idea when they're going to get in a fight with a best friend, or they're going to have a breakup with their boyfriend, or they're going to be approached about something that they're scared about. And you have to pay attention, because sometimes you're not necessarily going to get told that something's going on in an area of their life. So you've got to be focused. And so I told him, I think this is the time. I have 4 years until she's going to be out making all of her own decisions. If I'm not there and paying attention, and I'm going to fall down. And so sometimes you think that the little ages are the hard times when you're trying to balance being a working mom, but sometimes it's those older years when you really, they need you in a different way, and you don't know when. You don't know when they're going to get broken up.
Right. When they,
so it's when they're going to need you a little bit more.
Yeah. Wow, that's good advice. You also kind of answered this one a little bit, but somebody else asked, how did you manage the demands of your career and motherhood?
I think, again, say no. And I also blended everything. Some people very much like the start and stop. Like, they would be like, I'm off work, so I do not answer any work emails. I don't answer any texts for work. Done. Right. And they like that as a boundary. For me, I blended the whole thing. And it made it easier for me, because I was just like, yeah, if I'm not doing anything, it doesn't take any effort to answer an email, especially on the phone. It's
BlackBerry.
But right, back in the BlackBerry days. But at the same time, I would stop in the middle of my work day to address something at home.
Yep.
So I always had it all worked out in the wash, and it made me feel like I'm not Bonnie the worker, Bonnie the mom, and the two don't interact with each other. I kind of blended those things. So that was what balance, I think, worked, for me. But again, it's personal. And and I also did do some flexible work arrangements where I did have reduced hours for 40 hours a week. So that was a flexible work arrangement.
Oh my God.
And then I took summers off, because I was at a client that wasn't there wasn't a lot going on in the summer anyway. So it was like, it was easy for me then to spend more time with the kids in the summer. And it was kind of like, it was actually kind of fun, It was just like I'd be home with the kids, and then, get new school supplies and go start school again.
You go back to work?
Yeah.
You go to school?
Yeah, I kind of liked it. I was ready, to get back into things. And so be creative and talk to the people that you're working with, because, a lot of them, they want to hold on to good employees. And a lot of times, the people that I was always most concerned about that worked for me were the ones that weren't saying anything, you know, because I didn't know what was going on. Like, you know, what is too much for you? Where you know, you're not feeling like your life has balance. And
yeah, that's a good point. It is, and like you said, it is easier nowadays with people being able to work from home, and that's a lot more common nowadays. So I think it's just being like open to asking for that and saying like, you know, this is what works for me and my family.
Yeah. And sometimes, does it mean that you're not going to necessarily get promoted at the exact same time? Yeah. You know, why is that necessarily considered bad? It's just like, okay, well, I'm okay with that. I'm working less because I want to be with my kids more. You know, I didn't want to miss out on stuff. So, I mean, it was okay not to get, you know, promoted. I was getting promoted at home. Yeah.
I was getting promoted at home. This is not a question because this is specific to what I know about your career. If you're comfortable sharing, you were originally on a partner track, considering, and we kind of moved here from Texas with the intention of you becoming partner, and then you decided not to go that route.
Well, first I had to leave audit because audit partners have to move every 5 years, so I couldn't do that to my kids. So then I switched over to the consulting arm of it, and then there was just a lot of things that were making it more difficult for that. And then when, you know, I was still thinking about it, then I got married again. And then all of a sudden it was just like, well, now I have, you know, double the size of my family because my husband has 3 boys and they were young. And so now I've got 6 kids every other weekend. So, you know, we had a lot going on. And so then I was just like, you know what, you know, that's not important to me anymore. And now so then I actually took a role on the internal side of the firm so that I could actually work from home and be actually even more engaged, because otherwise I was going to have to be on the road working a lot of hours in order to get to that promotion, and it just didn't make sense anymore. And that's another thing, you can just change your mind.
That's where I was going with that. That was going to be the moral of that story, was that you are allowed to change your mind. So just because you're going into public accounting, Big Four, right out of school, or you're already there, to the person who asked the question, I know, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. No. You can change your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's because but you know, and sometimes, you know, that one was still hard, you know, sometimes you let go of that, but you have to, you know, realize that it's all a balance. So what you're getting in exchange for that, you know, so it's just like, okay, you know, it's
worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. And so it's, you know, life is about choices, and it's and again, being able to change your mind and say, oh, you know, what I thought I wanted is different than what I want now, and that's okay.
Yeah, yes, I like it. All right, these questions should not surprise you given me and my channel. Are you a planner?
Well, so there's things that I like to plan. So I'm very specific about my vacations, and because if I'm going to go somewhere, I want to make sure I didn't figure I get there and the place I wanted to see is closed on that day of the week. So I very much a planner when it comes to vacation, and I have a spreadsheet. I like spreadsheets too, and so
there's a trait I got from her.
Yeah. So I like my spreadsheets. I have all that. You know, the day-to-day stuff, no, I don't plan that stuff. I barely plan a dinner a day ahead of time. And so I
tell people that all the time. No. You like will pick and go grocery shopping. I mean, you're retired, so you can like each day what's for dinner.
Yeah. Well, there's also times where I will have tried and planned it out.
Yeah.
And then we go out, and then
the food goes
to waste, because then, you know, it was like the next day we had plans too, or whatever. It was just like, so I was tired of wasting food, and if I could go to, you know, out to the store every day, I can, so why not? And so I like that European way, you know, where they do go
European lifestyle.
Yeah. So so day-to-day things, not a planner at all. You know, I don't plan out stuff like that at all. Now, if I'm planning a party, again, another big event, then I'm very meticulous about getting that done and not waiting till the last minute. I like to have things done ahead of time, but it's just
she's not a list person unless it's a vacation, parties, and I'm gonna throw one more in there, and that's Christmas.
Oh, Christmas, yes.
You're a planner when it comes to Christmas.
Yeah.
Both like presents, but also like the food and the cookies and all of the things related to Christmas.
Yeah. So Christmas, that's the other.
That's the other thing you plan.
Yeah.
So I tell people, I'm like, I did not get my planning from my mom. She plans vacation and Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
Similar is, do you do any sort of goal setting or habit tracking?
Not really, no.
Also did not get that from her.
No, little things like I count, I watch my steps, and I have that little.
That's true. You don't track it anywhere, but you do look at the step count on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So that I do.
So you almost got out of bed the other day to get 2 more steps to hit your number.
Yeah, so I can get 20,000. Yeah.
Don't, when you hear that number, once again, retired, walks like it's nobody's business. Her and her other retired friend will walk for like hours a day.
Yeah.
So don't hear 20,000 and be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I love to walk. So I do like to watch the counter on that. So
that is a goal.
That's a goal.
Yeah, and a habit that you work on.
And a habit that I work on. But yeah, I'm not very good about these other goal setting and habits.
That's okay. we've tried, but it's it's not for everybody. And if you're watching this channel, it probably is for you, and you probably like goal setting. But if you've ever been like, well, it's not really for me, like, then don't do it. Like, as long as you're happy and you're enjoying your life,
that's right,
then it works. All right, I have one left, and it's kind of a funny, silly one. Did you have as much fun shooting the engagement vlog as it looked?
Oh, yes. I forgot. Oh my God, we had so much fun doing that.
Oh my gosh.
I was so excited when I came up with the idea, because I was just like, oh my gosh, Laken takes videos of everything, and I'm just like, she doesn't know this, so I have to do it for her. And I had a lot of fun. I was so excited to be able to surprise her. I held the secret for 5 months.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And and the fact that I was in New York and she didn't even know I was in New York. She was thinking I was coming in the next day, so it was even more fun. And then we all the parents got together. It was my idea to get all 8 of us together because we had not met, Sam's parents, and so it was so fun. It was a lot of fun. So yes.
Yes to your question. And if you don't know what we're talking about, so almost 4 years ago now, which that is a little mind-blowing to me. Sam was putting on a show, he was producing a show, and I was performing in the show. So I knew she was coming in to watch me perform, and that wasn't weird. Like, it didn't throw me off at all. The one thing that threw me off is when you were staying with your friend instead of with us. I thought that was kind of weird. When in reality, she was staying at a hotel because my stepdad was also in town. But all of the other 7 parents, I had no idea that they were coming. And so she vlogged the whole weekend with, like, leading up to the engagement of all the stuff they did that I had no idea was happening. And so at the time, I was doing weekly vlogs myself. And so I incorporated her footage and I put like mom cam on it into that video. So if you never got to check that out, it is hilarious because it's all of her stuff behind the scenes and then mixed in with my vlogging about the show with no idea what was happening. Like, I was just like, oh, I'm performing today and here's me going to rehearsal, and my husband pulled off all kinds of crazy things, like plopping me at a restaurant to watch football while they sound checked the proposal song. And I literally thought nothing of it. I was like, well, yeah, I want to sit here and watch this football game. And so, yeah, oh, you have to go get more water for the cast? Okay, bye. And in reality, he ran back to like sound check. And so I also talk about all those little things that in retrospect, I was like, oh, wow, that was happening. But it was a very fun weekend. I'm hard to surprise, I feel like. So yeah, I feel like he definitely pulled that off, and all of you combined, like, yeah, it was so fun. Like, nobody let it slip. Nope, we were all good. Which is amazing. Yeah, we were all good. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, and now 4 years later, those 8 people are gonna be grandparents. We're gonna be grandparents, yay! Which is also bananas. Been excited for this for a long time. Thanks, Mom. Sorry, no pressure. That's the problem when we're both the oldest, that it's like they're all ready. Yeah, they're all ready to have grandbabies. So it's definitely. I think it is an advantage of being first too. That's true. Yes, being the first has lots of pros as well, and including like the age of our parents. All of our parents are in good health and can care for and be around our children, and that will be exciting for them. Yes, I'm excited for that because yeah, it's gonna be here before we know it. I mean, by the time you're watching this video, she'll be here. Like, that's how long this video is not going up for like 2 more months. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you that. No. Yep. yeah, this is like, I'm pre-filming all the things so that there's content while
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so this
awesome.
video, she will be here by the time this video goes live.
Yay, baby, you'll be here.
So, yeah, all right, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this and getting to know my mom a little bit more. If you did like it, let us know down in the comments by giving it a thumbs up, and maybe we'll do more, especially, you know, we talked a little bit about newborn baby tips, and then maybe we'll move into toddler tips, and who knows from there. So that is gonna be it. Thanks for watching. Bye. Let me try that again. I'm the one that messes up.